This is example 2 on simplifying expressions with rational exponents. For this example, I have to use the distributive property. Notice how I have a term outside of the parentheses. This means multiplication, and we have to multiply. This first term we're going to multiply by the first term inside the parentheses, and then we multiply the term outside with the second term inside the parentheses. So let's multiply these two first. This is what you will get. When you multiply x to the 1/2 power times x to the 3/4 power, we're multiplying the same base. As a side note here, whenever you multiply the same bases, what you do is you add the exponents. This is 3 plus 1, which is 4. And that's what we're going to do here. X to the 1/2 power times x to the 3/4 power, that's going to be x to the 1/2 plus 3/4 power. Okay? And now I'm going to multiply that term that's outside with the second term that's inside. And that's going to give me x times negative x. That's going to be negative x to what power? It's going to be 1/2 plus 3/2. Okay? So that's what came out of our distributive property. Now we have to add these exponents. And notice the exponents are fractions, and we have to add these two fractions. Let's go to the side here. And when we add fractions, 1/2 plus 3/4, we cannot add two fractions that have unlike denominators. Okay? We need to have it in the same denominator. That's like trying to add hours and minutes. Like saying 2 hours plus 15 minutes. I can't say that's 17. Okay? 2 plus 15, 17. You have to have it in the same units in order to add hours and minutes. So the same thing happens with fractions. You have to have these in the same denominator in order to add them together so that they represent similar quantities. Okay, so to add these two, we need to find a common denominator. The common denominator here is 4. Now 3/4 is already ready. It's already a denominator 4. 1/2 isn't. So I have to change this 1/2 and make it look like something fourths. And the way to do that is to change that denominator into a 4. I would have to multiply that denominator by 2. If I multiply the denominator by 2, I multiply the numerator by 2. And notice what we're really doing is we're multiplying 1/2 by 1. So we're not really changing the value of 1/2. We're only dressing it up differently so that it looks different. We're changing its wardrobe. Okay, so let's multiply. 2 times 1 is 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. So 1/2 is now dressed up differently. It's 2/4. It's still the same quantity though. It's still 1/2. Plus 3/4. And that equals 5/4. Okay, so this becomes x to the 5/4 power. Okay, another way to add 1/2 plus 3/4, you can actually draw these amounts. You can draw two rectangles here that are the same size, and I can break these up into fourths. And when I have 1/2, that means I have 2/4 of the rectangle, right? That represents 1/2 of the rectangle, plus 3/4, that would be 3 out of 4. Now when I add each individual piece, each fourth, I have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4. So 1/2 plus 3/4 is 5/4. That's another way you can visualize adding fractions. I know students have a lot of problems with fractions. Okay, so we're done with this part. Let's do the other one. It says minus x, and I need to add these two. 1/2 plus 3/2. We're lucky here. They already have common denominators. The denominators are 2. There's nothing to be done here. Just add the numerators. So 1 plus 3 is 4/2. This is x to the 5/4 to the 5/4 power minus x to the 2nd power, because 4/2 is equal to 2. And there is your answer for this example. I will see you for the next example, example 3.